Now, this is not a series that has seen a lot of Buccaneers success. In fact, there have only been two Tampa Bay successes against Pittsburgh in 1998 and 2014, but there have been a lot of memorable moments on the way. Now, a little trivia question for you. The Bucs have only beaten the Texans and the Ravens once, but which is the only other NFL team the Bucs have beaten twice that was still in existence when they started playing in 1976? We'll have the answer to that one at the end of this feature. 1976 was the scene of one of the biggest mismatches in NFL history. This wasn't David against Goliath. This was Barney taking on the Masters of the Universe. The expansion winless Buccaneers against the defending Super Bowl champions with the steel curtain defense at the height of its powers. The spread was 26 points, and Jimmy the Greek was still putting his house on Pittsburgh. Coach John McKay started former Steeler Terry Hanratty at quarterback, and his first half stats were 1 of 4 for -1 yard. It was 42-0, and the Bucs played superbly to get the zero. They were outgained 385 yards to 105, and they went over 45 minutes of play without an offensive first down. The Steelers did not even put Terry Bradshaw in until the second half, and it could easily have been a record NFL score if coach Chuck Noll had so wished. Now, Steve Spurrier did get to play the second half as a merciful replacement for Hanratty, but the Bucs fell to 0-13 in their first season. 1980 saw the Super Bowl that never was, because if the Buccaneers had beaten the Rams in the '79 championship game, they would have played the Pittsburgh Steelers, who of course were going for their fourth Vince Lombardi trophy. The two teams met at mid-season 1980, and Pittsburgh came out on top, although this was two heavyweight teams really going at it. It did feature, though, the first NFL touchdown for a great rookie wide receiver.
Second down, 7. Williams will throw. Going for 6. Touchdown! Kevin House, his first professional touchdown. He's going to keep the ball.
Pittsburgh's win in 1989 was in the final game of the season, and it was the coldest game ever played at Tampa Stadium. It was 39 degrees at kickoff. Even us Brits put on a jumper in that kind of weather. Now, the Pittsburgh won pretty easily, but Mark Carrier did have 101 yards and 2 touchdowns to cap his Pro Bowl season. In 1998, it wasn't cold in Tampa, it was just really wet. The field was sodden throughout, and the Bucs managed to hold Paul Stewart to absolutely no real offense and had 4 interceptions, 2 of which from John Lynch. The Bucs won 16-3, and they left it to the A train to provide most of the offense.
Here comes All-Star. There goes All-Star. Touchdown!
Now, because of a quirk in scheduling, the two teams played consecutive seasons. In 2001, the Bucs offensive line gave up 10 sacks of Brad Johnson to set a franchise record in a loss. And in 2002, the Bucs were on their way to the Super Bowl, but they played on Monday Night Football in December without the injured Brad, and Sean King and Rob Johnson were behind centre. Now, that was the game where Steelers cornerback Lee Flowers called the Bucs paper champions. And then, of course, after they won the Vince Lombardi trophy, I believe it was Ron D. Barber who said, well, I just looked in the paper and it says we're champions in there now. Now, in 2006, the Bucs went to Three Rivers and they got beaten 20-3 when John Gruden kicked a field goal on the final play of the game just to avoid a shutout. 2006 was a pretty depressing season all round. But let's move on to the next time the Bucs went to Pittsburgh in 2014. It was another bad season. The Bucs finished 2-14 under Lovie Smith, but they did manage to beat the Steelers. It was right at the end of the game. They were knocking on the Steelers' door, and Mike Glennon, remember him? Mike Glennon found Vincent Jackson for the winning score.
Did he get it? Touchdown, Vincent Jackson, with 7 seconds to go.
The last time the two teams met was in 2018, and it was Monday Night Football again in Tampa. Now, the Bucs had won their first 2 games behind Ryan Fitzpatrick, but Fitzmagic came to an end. The Bucks were 30-10 down at half-time when Tony Dungy was inducted into the Ring of Honor, and it was only a couple of late touchdowns from Ryan Fitzpatrick that gave the score some sense of respectability.
3rd and goal. Coming after Fitz. Pick it up as he lofts it to the corner. Jump ball is brought down by Godwin. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. 2nd and 10. He got him. Does he? Yes! Mike Evans waited for it. Hold it in.
Now, the answer to our trivia question, which original team from 1976 have the Bucks only beaten twice? And it's a little bit of a trick question because it's the original Houston Oilers, now Tennessee Titans. The Bucks beat them in 2007 as the Titans, and they beat them in 1983 as the Oilers in a game that became known as the Reapers Bowl. We'll feature that one at a later date. Now, don't forget, you can catch up on all previous meetings with the Steelers, as well as everything else to do in the history of the Buccaneers at buckpower.com. Every player, every game, everything Bucks.